Okay, let's see. A number of other things that I have to mention here is that while going through these attacks, which are repetitive, and here's the thing, when you get attacked by these kinds of people, at least the way that I'm being attacked, it's not like physical attacks. They're not like walking up to me and trying to like punk me or something or intimidate me. It's like all over a network where they talk to me and they constantly antagonize me. And they've tried to basically these people are so stupid to try to like degrade my genes in the case that I don't go along with their plan. I'm not the kind of person that goes along with people's plans. I'm too headstrong. I have my own way of thinking about everything, and I don't do well around people. I don't do well around people who try to use their supposed authorities against me, simply for the sake of, because it's some type of ego enjoyment or something. I just do not respond well to those types of people. I'm basically a free thinker. So, with these people have antagonized me constantly using these networks and abusing them, and they think that they can intimidate me out of things by talking to me over a network. And even my throat, like they have technology inside of my throat, and I can feel it because my throat does not feel like normal. Well, people can say whatever they want about my messages being hold on just a second. I'm going to record this whole message and show you what they're doing to me, just to show you that they are actually messing with my body as I'm saying these things, because they're trying to make me seem like I'm less intelligent, and I'm actually not. I'm an extremely intelligent person. I don't have any lack of confidence here, but they do try to give me like speech impediments and things while I'm explaining myself in certain regards, because they want to make me seem like I'm stupid, and it's some sort of like ego thing for them, and they're just not going to be able to get away from me prosecuting them and destroying their lives. So and quite a few of them are rich, and there's some in intel, there's some in military, they're all over the place. It's basically a bunch of like Satanists and Luciferians, and they're gonna perish in lawsuits. So in any case, they've antagonized the fuck out of me for a long time, and I'm just kind of tired of it. They try to like degrade my genes and steal them and whatnot, because I have very, very powerful genes, and I have some very, very unique things about me that I have not really talked about too much, but I'm starting to talk about them now, and I'm starting to expose them now, because if I talk about them publicly and I talk about them to people, that is my form of leverage against them, and it makes it a lot harder for them to do anything to me. This is one of my methods in which I am going to I'm going to reveal things to people, and it's going to it will kind of trip you out, and it will throw you in certain directions. But at the same time, I think it's better for you to stop and listen and really take these things into account seriously, because these are some of the parts of society that need to be weeded out, and they happen to be more or less parasitical and detrimental over being these suppositions as beneficiaries when they're really not. Now, as I was stating before, my thoughts are not superfluous. I don't have any kind of issues communicating with myself typically, and I happen to have like a wide-ranging vocabulary and to be very well spoken or eloquent. So that people are messing with me by me providing these these pragmatic examples. I've gone through a series of these attacks via cyber terrorism, and it's the nanotechnology linked into my head, and the way they have it in your head, the way they can link it or configure it in your head, is that they can do that. They can plug an AI system into you via their mainframe, which is essentially worldwide. All they have to do is go over your node, which is your body, and activate you, and then they can pull you up to the network and start talking to you and doing different things to you. And they've done this with me, and they've tried all kinds of different techniques to try to get me to try to coerce me into what they want, and none of which have been all that effective. So right now, that's what I'm doing. I've had to create alternate accounts to get my social media across, and they still try to censor and block those. My YouTube accounts, they've done the same thing. And all the information that I'm presenting, all it has to do with is like pedophiles and rapists being prosecuted, or these certain types that are like murderers that don't want to be revealed. They're being revealed now. There's not going to be a merciful approach here. They will die. And, people will want them to die. That's the important part to know about this, is that all of society will want all these men and women to die because of the way they are, because they just do not know how to act. So I'm going to make sure that, I'm basically just going to go all out with all this information and expose them for what they are. I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I just don't like them. They're frankly, to me, they're pathetic. They're overly egoic. They're outright contentious, and they're entitled. And I do not really get along with people who just assume that they deserve to have a certain position just because they might like look good on paper, because they were placed in that position to look that way. If they can actually substantiate their position in society, then yes. And I think a lot of people actually feel this way. I think an enormous amount of people probably feel this way, is that if someone is going to be like that, like a sociopath, an outright violent sociopath, and they want to maintain their place in the world, they're going to have to do a little bit more than, kissing ass, like fawning and cloying in order to get there. And I think this is one of the things that society needs to change, and we need to pull all these individuals out of these topmost positions, or out of these positions of like power or wealth, and redistribute their wealth over into other localities, because they are inept or invalids. And I think I might speak harshly sometimes, but I say things that are close to reality, and they hit home, and that's probably why people do get a sense that what I'm saying is truthful, even if it is not always palatable. So in the standard political correctness sense, I don't always appeal to people, but at the same time, I can tell the truth and not feel bad about it. And this is what I'm doing here. And this is part of some of the situations I've gone through with being attacked by a cult or several cults that have tried to mind control program me, or you can call it neuro-linguistic programming. That's another thing you can call it, which is more of a scientific term. Or you can call it like an entrainment. You can call it an entrainment methodology. You can call it a lot of different things, but they do use these types of techniques in the military to try to yoke people, and or to get them to submit, or to get them to pay attention, or there's a lot of different words you can use for it, or to get them to adhere to a certain demand. And this is essentially what they've tried to use on me, and it's not going to work, because I just have a mind of my own. So this gives people a better idea of like where I stand with the whole thing, to know that I'm being truthful, and to also know that even though some of the things that I'm explaining or saying to you seem extremely very unlikely, they're actually not. It just so happens that it falls within a band of being a minority, a minority phenomenon.